Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a light classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later for my college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in XLR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he's doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge. Here they're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exam to test our knowledge, and as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, XLR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across XLR, and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped. So I came to the XLR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate has helped my company to join. Thank you, XLR.
I came to know about this course from my college. Actually, for learning platform, this is very nice, and I learned from here ChatGPT and AI from online. Vikas is teaching for me for AI generative and ChatGPT. We are using this technology in more. And after finishing the courses, I came from for collecting the certificate. I seen the classrooms and faculties. Classroom is very nice. After the completion of exam, they will give gift and certificates. Thank you, XLR, for giving these courses. I learned a lot from this. I gained the more knowledge from here. And thank you for XLR for teaching us.
Hi guys, good evening. So we are in the day 9 of this session, and today I have shortlisted a very important topic, which is asked a lot in the interview for freshers, and that is collections. Have you heard of the topic collections? And anything you're aware of it? Yes, anyone who can tell me about collections and what he or she has studied about collections? This very important topic. You will be asked questions in the interview room on topic of collections. Okay, very good. ArrayList. What else? Is that all you all know about collection in ArrayList? There are many things in the collection hierarchy. Lots of, let me plug in my charger. Let me plug in my laptop for charging. Apart from ArrayList, there are other host of other classes and interfaces in the collection framework. ArrayList is one of them. Yes, stack. Correct. Stack also is correct. Queue also is correct. Linked list also is correct. Yes. Now people are correct. All of these are correct. So to understand this topic of collection, okay, let me Hansika, can I ask your doubt on the chat? So see, we have these three ambiguous terms whenever you're learning collections. We have these three pretty ambiguous terms: collection, collection, and collections. So to sort this out, this is the chapter name. If you are going to study collection, and the collection with a capital C is the parent interface. There is a parent interface by the name collection, and by collection there is a utility class. So this utility class has various methods, such as finding the min from a collection, max from a collection, sorting the collection. It has some utility methods. If you want, you can use for such operations, you can use the collections. Okay, and this collection is a parent interface. So all the interfaces, they take birth from this collection interface. So this collection interface is at the root of the hierarchy. So whenever you are studying the chapter of collection, this collection interface, okay, this one is there at the root, and from this all the other sub interfaces, they will take birth. So we have three very prominent interfaces under collections, and these are very common questions asked in the interview. What is the difference between the list and the set interface? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between the list and the set interface? And you have one called as queue interface. So these all, they are extending, they extend the collection interface. Then there is one more very important interface, but it does not extend the collection, it's on its own, and that is the map interface. So it's a interface, it's a part of the chapter, but it does not inherit from the collection interface. Now, whatever I have put in the red, black color, sharp edge rectangles, these are all interfaces. Okay, these are all interfaces. And one interface can inherit from another interface. So the black line is your extends, that is inheritance. Black line is extends. Then interface just has abstract methods. Interface just have correct, Shreyash. List will allow duplicates, set will not allow duplicates. So if I take a comparison between list and set, list preserves the insertion order, means order is maintained. Order is preserved. The order in which the elements are added, list will preserve that order. Set, on the contrary, does not preserve the order. It will preserve the element, but order is not preserved. So if I add an element, it will add that element, but it will not preserve the order. Okay. Order is not preserved. Second difference between list and set is list allows duplicate objects, and here no duplicate not allowed. Duplicates not allowed. Okay. 3, you can have multiple null objects over here. You can have multiple null objects, but in a set, you can have only a single null. You can have only one single null object. You cannot have more than one null in a set. Okay, and collection is a group of non-primitives. Always remember this. Group of what? Non-primitives. Collection will always be a group of non-primitives. You cannot store primitives in a collection. So if I have a int, and let's say integer a is 10, and if I want to store into a collection, can I store this into a collection? Can I store this a into a collection? No, because it's a primitive. So what it does is it converts this into a non-primitive and then stores. It converts into a non-primitive and then stores. So with the help of wrapper classes, it will convert this into a non-primitive and then store. It will not store the primitive in its original shape. It will convert the primitive into a non-primitive. How does it convert? With the help of wrapper classes. Okay, so this also is a very important concept. Wrapper classes. So what happens in wrapper classes is, so every country has an associated capital, correct? Every country has an associated capital. So if I say India, you all will tell New Delhi, right? If I say USA, you all will say Washington DC. And if I say France, every country has a capital city associated with it. Similarly, every primitive has a wrapper class associated with it. So if int is the primitive, the wrapper class for int is integer. If float is the primitive, the wrapper class associated with float is float. If double is a primitive, so every primitive will have some wrapper class associated. If char is the primitive, the wrapper class. If the wrapper class means starts with a capital. So if someone says, is Java case sensitive? Can you help with an example? So yes, say yes. Java is case sensitive because float with a small f is something different, and float with a capital F is something different. Double with a small d is different, and double with a capital D is different. So say very confidently, yes, Java is case sensitive language because these two doubles are totally different. So if I make an object of this double, so this D gets converted into the object of this double and then it is stored into the database. How do I know the one which is stored in the collection is a primitive or non-primitive? As I said, from a primitive, we cannot invoke a method. We cannot invoke a method from a primitive. So if I make a primitive, I cannot call any method from that primitive. So if I say integer a is 10, and if I do a dot, will it give me a list of method? Will Eclipse show me any list of methods which I can invoke using this a? What do you all think, guys? Will there be a drop down of list of methods? Yes or no? A is a primitive. So the primitive, you cannot call any method. So it will not give you any list. Let me show it to you. So we were where? This one. Interview preparation batch. And today is our day 9. New package. Day 9. Okay. And let me do new class. Primitive demo. And if I make an integer n1 equals to 10, if I do n1 dot, does it give me any list of methods I can call with this? No, right? Similarly, if I make a non-primitive, so let me make one other class, so I can share this with you all. Non-primitive demo. And now if I make a integer a, and if I do a dot, it gives me a host of methods which I can call with this. So whatever I store into the collection, if it is of primitive type, it gets converted into a non-primitive. Okay, this technique of converting a primitive into a non-primitive is called as autoboxing. It's called as what? So if you asked in the interview what is autoboxing, you can say confidently that the process of converting a primitive, that is an integer a, into a integer upper class object, into an integer a, is called as autoboxing, converting a primitive to a non-primitive. And we have corresponding wrapper classes for all, okay? And then we have unboxing, which is the reciprocal, which is this. It is this. Converting a non-primitive back to its primitive, that is called as unboxing. So these questions are pretty frequently asked for freshers. What are unboxing? What is autoboxing? Okay, who can tell me what is typecasting? And in typecasting, what are the types of typecasting? There are two types, implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. We had discussed this in the very first session, I guess. Implicit means done internally for you without your approval. That is when I take a int and I try to convert it into a double. So I am trying to convert int to a double, from a small to a big, from a 4 byte to a 8 byte. So small to big there is no data loss. There is no data loss because the 4 will become 4.0. There is no data loss at all. So it is done implicitly, no data loss. It is done internally implicitly. Explicit typecasting is when you are trying to convert from a big to a small. The explicit typecasting means when you try to convert a big into a small, that is called as text. So here you have to show. So if you have a double 4.5 and you want to convert it into an integer 4, so here you have to explicitly say that. So if you have a double variable double d equals to 4.5 and you want to convert it into an integer x, so here you have to say that please convert this d into an integer. Here you have to mention explicitly. That is called as your typecasting. So typecasting, autoboxing, unboxing, these terms you should be familiar with. These are very common questions for freshers in the interview. Okay. Process of converting one data type to another is called as typecasting. And how many types of typecasting are there? Implicit, which is done internally for you. Without the programmer's approval, it will automatically convert it. That is implicit typecasting. When is that done? It is done when a small type is converted to a big type. It is done implicitly because there is no data loss. And explicit when a big is converted to a small. So when a double is converted to an integer, there is a chance of data loss because this 0.5 will be truncated. So I have to explicitly convert it, that take this d, convert this into an integer and store in the integer variable. Okay, I hope you all make a note of these terms and preparing your interview question set. So anybody who has made a set of questions, guys, so after the session, whatever you have taught, I have started making questions and I have accumulated these many questions. Is there any candidate who's preparing the list of questions? So today's session, what can we take the questions? So if I ask what is autoboxing, what is unboxing, what is wrapper class, what is typecasting, what is implicit typecasting, what is explicit typecasting, what is difference between list and set? Are you all making a note of all the frequently asked questions, guys? Is my question to you all. Who is making a note of them dedicatedly? Anyone? You all should make a note of these questions. So how many questions have you collected so far, sir? We made a repository of all the questions and I have from these 9 sessions, I have amassed around 90 to 100 questions. And these will be the frequently asked questions. If you cover that much and go, very high chance that you should crack the interview. So the purpose of the sessions should be served. We are here to crack the interview. And for object-oriented programming, these are the frequently asked questions which they ask. Okay, so let's move now. I hope you all have understood. So whenever we store a collection, remember collection is only for the non-primitives. You cannot store primitives into a collection. And if you try to store a primitive, it will get converted into a non-primitive by the help of wrapper classes. That would be done internally for you. Okay, internally it will create. So these are my classes of collection. So now the collection classes, these are interfaces. So you need to implement the interface. So we have to implement the interface. So here we have various classes which implement the interfaces. So we have ArrayList, we have linked list, we have vector, and then we have the stack. We have array list, linked list, vector, and stack. So these are classes which implement the list interface. And this stack, it extends the vector. Okay, so you should be now comfortable with the explanations now. If I draw a red color rounded rectangle, that is called as a class, and the blue color line is called as implements, because one class implements another. One class implements an interface. So list and set, these are all interfaces. So this is the class which implements them. These are classes. From this is the class. This is implements. And in the set also you have various classes which implements the set. Now the most famous one is hash set. Okay. And then you have linked hash set. Okay. And then you have one more interface over here called as sorted set. And then you have one more class over here called as tree set. Like this. We have various classes and interfaces over here. This class is your hash set. Linked hash set. And reset. This class extends, implements, and one interface extends another interface. Interface cannot implement an interface. Interface can extend an interface. And in the queue we have many classes. One of them is your priority queue. Okay. So we'll discuss that. The other classes also, but we'll discuss what is priority queue. So this implement the queue. And the hash map is pretty much identical to the hash set. So if I just copy this and paste it over here and just change the class names, instead of set I can use map. But here the linked hash map, it extends from the hash map. Like this. We have hash. Now wherever there is a hash, just replace it. Wherever there is a set, just replace it with map. Hash map, linked hash map, and tree map. So quite much similarity between the If you can have command of over all these classes, you should be able to excel in the interview also, as well as at your workplace also. For the current industry, lot of collections are being used to implement the programming. So you should be comfortable with as many classes mentioned over here as possible. So we'll try to explain you all as many possible in this short duration. So collection is the interface, right? So there are few methods. If I want to put into all the classes, so let's say I want to put a method add, then I want to put a method add in the array list also. I want to put this add in the linked list also. I want to put in the vector also. I want to put in the stack also. I want to put in the hash set also. I want to put in the linked hash set also. I want to put in the tree set also, in the priority queue also. If I want to put the methods in all the classes, then the easiest way is, so if you want all the leaves to be green, then instead of watering the leaf, you water the root. So put the add where? You put the add in the collection. And as all are inheriting from the collection, this method will be inherited by all the classes. So there are few common methods of the collection interface. By virtue of being in the collection interface, it gets inherited across all the classes which are inheriting from the collection interface. So one of them is add. If you want to add any object to the collection, you can use the add method, and the add method will take an object as an argument. The add will take an object, because as I said, in collection we can only store non-primitives. So you can pass object of any class. Okay. Okay guys, very interesting topic now. What is this object? This object is a great grandparent class in Java. All the classes in Java, they inherit from the object class. So this class is top of the hierarchy. All the classes in Java, they inherit from the object class. This is also a very common question. Mark it down. They will, may ask you question on the, what do you know about the object class? So what you have to say, the object class is the great grandparent class in Java. All the classes in Java extends from the object class. All the classes in Java extends from the which class? All the classes in Java, they extends internally from the object class. So if I pass object over here, means I can pass object of any class. So all the classes will inherit from the object. What are the methods of the object class if they ask you? So just try to remember 2-3 methods. I'll show you all. So equals, we had discussed equals, right? When I was teaching you all the string constant pool, remember? So equals is a method of the object class. Your destructor, what we call in Java, we don't call it by the name destructor, we call it by the name finalize. So your finalize is a method. I guess finalize. Because it is finalize only. Finalize Z. So finalize is a method of the object class. Then there are many more. The toString function is the object method of the object class. There are many more. I don't want to confuse you all, but at least you can remember equals, finalize, and toString. Okay. Then there is methods like in multi-threading chapter we have wait, notify all. These also a method of the object class. How many method name you can recollect? Try to recollect and tell the examiner. Then inform the examiner about these. As many methods if you want, you can put over here. So equals is there. Hash code also is a function of the object class. So these are all methods of the object class, and all the classes in Java directly or indirectly are inheriting from the object class. So to the add method, if I pass an object class, means any object in Java. So let me come and try to practice over here. Okay, so let's make collection demo. Okay, and you guys pay a strict attention on the collection class. Very, very important. You cannot keep it as an option. Try to have command on the collection. Once you have the understanding of collection in any language, you can implement it in any other language also. So if you understand the list, set and map of Java, then you'll understand the list, set and map of Python also. The other differences in Python, we call the map as dictionary. Whereas the concept remains the same more or less. Okay. So now what do? I make any of the class in Java. Let's say I make an array list. I make an array list called names equals to new array list. Okay, and all these are in the util package. Which package of Java these are in? These are in java.util package. These are in this package. Okay, so now if I do Control-Shift-4 to import, you will see the array list has been imported from the util package. Now, if I want to add any element to it, I have a function called as add, to which I can pass an object. See, you can pass any object. So if I pass an object Alice Chris and said David and then I've added them. Now if I display that, if I display the collection, you will see that how it shows up. So a list will always be represented by a square bracket. Always remember that. A list will be represented by a square bracket. Okay, anything and anything which has a list. So even the array, so any group of data, okay, such as an array, will also be shown as a square bracket. The output list also will be shown as a square bracket. Set also as a square bracket. So list of objects will always be shown as within square bracket. So if I run this code and check and show you all, see this, cancel this, what is happening? There's an issue with the non-primitive. Okay, then comment this out. What is the issue with the primitive? Same thing, comment this out. Now let's come to our collection. Right click, run as Java application, and you will see all the data and the insertion order is preserved because I've used the array list. So the order in which I added them, it is showing me in that very order within square brackets. So try to learn to interpret a list collection. Okay, so whenever there is an array, whether there is an array list, there is a linked list or a set, it will always show you in your square brackets. Now, which method have I used over here? The add method. Now the add method is overloaded. Means what? It has more than one add method. So one add method with only object, and one add method you can add any other object at a particular location. So if I want to add, okay, what is the index is now? What is the index of Alice? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to add a name called Frank, and I want to add Frank over here, so what index will Frank go to? Index 1, right? So I can say add at index 1, which element? Frank. And now after adding, if I display the names again, see what happens. So now after adding Frank, where do you think Frank got added? At which location? When I display the output, where will Frank come? Will it come after Ben or will it come after Alice? Yes, guys. What will you all say? If I execute this code, where will I see Frank? I will see Frank at after Alice, correct. So I'm displaying this collection 2 times. Once before adding Frank and after adding Frank. So I do a save all. I do a right click. I do a run as Java application. See, it's come over here. So now how many add methods are there? One add with the object and one add with the index and object. So what has happened over here? Overloading or overriding? Who will tell me? Who will tell me what has happened over here? Overloading or overriding? Yes, guys. Overloading has happened, correct? Because function with the same name and different parameters called as overloading. Okay. And now if I want to read Alice, so I have the get function. So whenever I want to do anything from the fetch from the collection, I will say names dot get which index? 0 index. And what type of value will this give me? What type of value will this give me? This will give me an Alice. Alice is a what type? String type. So see what happens over here now. See, collections are heterogeneous. You can add whatever type of data in the same collection. In one collection, I can add string also. I can add double also. I can add Boolean also. I can add any type of data. See, if I run this code, it will still work fine. If I run this code, it will still work fine. See, it's still working fine. Okay, so now what is there at index 0? Alice, right? If I want to fetch that Alice, then I know Alice is a string, but see, it will show some name problem over here. It will show a problem over here. See, it is showing a problem. So, as in the collection, we have entered several type of data. So it is not able to conclude as to what type of data is there at index 0. Because by default, the collection is heterogeneous. So it is not sure as to this get of 0 is a string or a int or a double or a Boolean. So now I have to explicitly typecast it. Okay, so typecasting is Where have you used typecasting? So you can say in the collections. So now I have to explicitly typecast it to a string and then store it. And now when I display, my name is, will show me Alice. My name is name. So now it will display me Alice. See over here, my name is Alice. So now I have to explicitly do typecasting. Okay. So our collection by default is heterogeneous. So even though this feature is given to me in the collection, but we as developers do not utilize this. So what we do is whenever we make a collection, we describe the type of data which will be stored in this collection, like this in angular brackets. If you might have observed, there were so many yellow lines over here. So that's why what we do, the standard protocol is whenever you're making a collection, you have to generalize the collection by using generic, that this collection is only of string type. So now you can store strings over here. And now as we know while creating that this is of string type, no need to do typecasting because I know whatever I will fetch will be of type string. See, it is not showing me any error. That is the advantage we get while generalizing the collection type. So now I can just say ArrayList of string, but now I cannot store anything apart from a string. Now if I try to store an integer value, it will not accept it. It will not accept because it is not a string. It is not applicable for your integer. So even though collections are heterogeneous, but we always try to make a collection of one particular type of data only. That can be any class. So if I want to now store the roll numbers or the ages of the students, who will help me? How will I make the array list? I want to store the ages of these students. So Alice, Grace, Elsie, David, and Ben. So you can tell me if I make a new class, ages array list. Who can help me with the creation of that? I'll make an array list. Okay, call it ages. Say new array list. As we are using ArrayList for a different package, Control-Shift-1 import the package. Okay, is this acceptable? Or can we make the performance better? Yes, we can give the index. That's what I did. That's what I did. I get, while doing get, I gave the index and it gave me that particular string. Just add 0 index. You got it, guys? That's what we have done over here. So when I say get of 0, so in the get method, you have to provide the index and it will give you the object. So when I say get of 0, give me the object and 0 index. Yes, casting is not required, Akhila, because I have told over here that my array list is of type string. So when I'm doing a get, it is 100% guaranteed that whatever it will give me will be of type string. That's right. Okay. So this also very important question. What should we do to eliminate the typecasting while using collection? So who will answer this question? If I ask this question to all in the interview, what should I do to eliminate frequent typecasting while working with collections in Java? So what will you answer this? How will you answer this? So every time I am asked to typecast in typecast. So how will you answer this? We will generalize the collection. So while creating the collection, we will use a generic that this collection will only be of this type, correct? Okay, very good. Now, as we said, collections can be of non-primitives. So if I have my student class, did we make a student class anywhere? Okay, just we are using the prime number. Okay, so classes objects, okay, student class. So I have a student class which has roll number, name, and percentage, right? Which has roll number, name, and percentage. They all are private data. And I will write setter getters. Setter getters I will write. And I will write a toString also. ToString means if I pass an object, it will convert the object to a string and give it to me. Okay. Now what I do is now I copy this class. What happened to it? I would have. So you can comment this out. You can delete it, not required. Okay, so I copy the student class and paste it in our package for today. So now let's come. Okay, so let me make a new class. Student collection. So now I make an object of the student class. Okay, let me add the parameterized constructor in the student class. That using that I can make the object. So I go to source and generate constructor. And remember, guys, always remember whenever you are making a constructor, whenever you're making a parameterized constructor, always try to have a empty non-parameterized constructor. This is very, very important. So whenever you are making a parameterized constructor, always make an empty non-parameterized constructor. So here let's go and make objects on the student class. S1 is new student, and let's say I pass the roll number, name, and what was the third percentage? Right? Roll number, name, and percentage. Yeah. Save it. Let me make 5 such objects. S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. I pass 5 different objects. Now I want to add these to a collection. array list student equals to new array list. For the array list. And now if I say students dot add S1, now how could I have written this code even better? Who can tell me? How could I have written this code even more better? My array list is containing data of one type only. My array list is containing data of one type only. So now if I tell that I want to get student number 1, if I want to get student number 1, and I say students dot get student index 0 and store it into a student object, it will show me an error. And that error will go when I typecast it. So I will say, okay, get the object at 0, convert it into a student, and then store it. See, now the error has gone. So what is the solution of this frequent typecasting again and again? Who will tell me? So as discussed, the collection, whenever we create it, we always do what? First thing first, we generalize the collection. So I say, whenever I make a list, I will say this list will contain objects of which class? This list is containing object of student class. See now, all the yellows have vanished, and now I am guaranteed whenever I will make a student, it will give me a student class only. So no need to do typecast. So now, can you display me the name of student number 3? Can you display me the name of student number 3 is my question. My question is display name of student number 3. So how will you do that? So we will sys out first as we have to display, and I will say from the students get me which object? Third means which index? Index 2. So it will give me this object. Of this object, what do I want to display? The name. So for that I can say dot get s name. So this will display me Rahul. This will display me Rahul C. So like this, you should be comfortable with playing around with connections, guys. Are you getting how I did this? So who's parallelly programming with me and exploring this? So once I have given on the left side, no need to give toward the right side. So people also give here also, but no need to give here. That is optional. Left side, if you give it, more than sufficient. If you want to give here also, just copy it from here, entire stuff, and paste it over here. This also will help, but left hand side is more than sufficient. As we have written the getter setters, because this data is private, right? I cannot access roll number from outside. So I have made a public getter setter to get the roll number. Similarly, I cannot access the name from outside because it is private. So I have a getter setter methods to read and write the name. So I wanted to read the name. That's why I wrote of the object get me the name. So if I now tell you all, get me the names of all the students. So there is one method which is common for all the collections, that is called as size. Okay. So add is common for all the collections. Get is common for all. Get, you have to give the index. Get, you have to give the index. Similarly, you have a function called as size. That is also mutual to all the, it will give you the size of the collection, the length of the collection, how many elements are there. So if I now display the size of the collection, what do you think will be the output? If I say over here sys out students dot size, what will be the output? Who will tell me? Who will tell me what will be the output of the student dot size? How many objects are here? That is the size of the collection. So if I save and if I run this, it should display me size 5. And now I want to display the names of all the students. So how will we do it? How will we iterate that loop? How will we iterate that loop? It will display all the size of, it should display all the names of all customers. Yes. I give you all 2 minutes. Think of the answer and let me see. As I told you, the get function needs an index. You need to provide the index to the get method. Not 1, Shrikant. I equal to 0 because the indexing starts from 0, correct? Yes. So how will you display all the names? So instead of just writing get of 2, what I can do is I can take a for loop and say integer I equals to 0, I less than students dot size and I plus plus. And then what do I do inside of each index? I want to display the name. So instead of hard coding it to 2, I say I. So what is the value of I in the first iteration? 0. So 0 objects name. So what is the value of I in the second iteration? 1 student's name. Okay. So now if I comment this out, it will display me the size. And after that, it will display me the names of all the questions. One has Java. Size and then the name in the very order in which I added. In the very order in which I have added them. Okay. If you want to sort this, then we have, as I mentioned, we have a utility class called as collections. You can sort that. Okay. So once you've added them, then you can say collections dot c sort. And which collection you want to sort? You want to sort the students collection. So now, what happened over here? Okay. For sorting, we need you to give some sorting mechanism. So we haven't given that. For that, we have comparator comparable classes. So for that, we have 2 interfaces more, comparator and comparable. That is a bit advanced collection. So that would be too much for you all on the day 1. So I'm not taking that. Maybe tomorrow I should explain you all comparator and comparable. These are 2 interfaces. I'm putting in a black box. Comparator and comparable. two interfaces are there for sorting the interface. So here, if I directly these are there. Now, if I want to sort them, so if I display it after adding Frank, where will Frank go to? Frank will go after Alice, right? So collection, after adding Frank, after Alice. So if I just display it once, so it will display me only once. But now, is this data sorted? This data sorted? No. So if you want to sort these collections, what you can do? Collections in the class. Collections has a function called as, see, I told you, has max, min, such methods are there. Also has one called as sort. And which collection are we sorting? We are sorting names. So now it will sort it. After sorting, if you will display, it will show you the sorted collection. See, Alice, Ben, Chris, David, and A, B, C, D, E, F. Now this is what this collections class does, it sorts it. So to sort this collection, you have to have some comparison mechanism. As we don't have any comparison mechanism implemented over here, hence we are not able to sort this, students. So for that, we have to study comparator, comparable. So we cannot sort it now. Okay, so we got it. So now, can you tell me? I want to find the average of the percentages. I want to find the average of the percentages of the students. So who can help me with the logic? How we can find the average of percentage? For that, we have to find the sum of percentages, correct? For that, we have to find the sum of the percentage. So how will we do that? Think, guys, think. These questions are very important for you guys for your interview preparation. Such small questions will be asked in the interview. What we can do is we can take a total variable as percentage is double type. So we can say double total percentage initialize to 0, and the number of times the loop iterates, that many times just add the total percentage. Total per equal plus equal. Now I will know what is plus equal, right? And what do I get? I get the percentage. Not get percentage. So these many times the loop will iterate, and in each iteration I am getting the percentage from here. I'm storing in total percentage, and then we can sys out and display the total percentage. And I want to display the average, right? So I'm going to display the average then. How will we display the average? Will tell me. So total percentage. We have got this. How will you display the average percentage? Average percentage will be total percentage divided by 5. 5 is with whom? 5 is with student dot size. So that is, you don't have to do any hard coded value, divide by the size, correct? So once you get a hang of playing around with percent collections, things should be easier. What is this 5? This 5 is the size. Just always prefix, always save the code. I do not save the code. So always size of student. Always prefix what you are trying to do. And now if I run this code, telling size is 5, total is 421.5, the average is 84.3. Getting it? So like this, you can play around with the first collections. So you can make your students make any object, because collection is a group of non-primitives, group of objects. So make your objects, add them to a collection, iterate through the collection, and then we can do various other activities. Making sense? Here I was iterating through a for loop. If I want to iterate through a for each loop, I could have done that also. So instead of iterating through a for traditional for loop, we could have iterated through a for enhanced for loop. So to for from the colon. So toward the right of the colon, you'll have the collection. So from this collection, in one iteration, one variable will come from where? Into student S. So now in each iteration, I'm having, so in the first iteration, S is containing whose details? This object's detail. Of this object, I want what? This one. What will I say now? Instead of writing student, I will say what? S dot get percentage. Well, in the first iteration, the first object is there in S. This is the first object. This is the first object. Of this first object, I want the percentage. So I do. So S is so the first iteration, the first object is there in S. Of that S, I want percentage. In second iteration, second object is there. Third iteration, third object is there. Fourth iteration, fourth object. Fifth iteration, fifth object. After more, there are no more objects. Loop will break, and I will come on. So let's check if it's working fine. It's working perfectly fine. And if in your for loop there is only one instruction, you can skip the parentheses also. This also can be skipped. So code has become even more cleaner. So code has become even more cleaner like this. So this is what I wanted to show you all, that how we can store objects into a collection, and then how we can iterate them through the for loop, through the for each loop, and carry out our task. Is this understood, guys? Okay. So we were discussing about the common methods of the collection. So add, get, size. Then is empty. Is empty also is a very frequently used method, which will tell you whether the collection is empty or not. If you want to empty the collection, you can use the clear method. You can use the clear method, which will clear the collection. This method will clear the collection. Okay. So these are very commonly used methods of the collection interface. So if I now ask you, is the student's collection empty or not? So if I ask you, is the student collection empty or no? Is the student's ArrayList empty? What is it, true or false? So I will check. I will say students dot is empty. So it will tell me false because there are 5 elements in it. It will tell me false because there are 5 elements in it. Okay. And now if I say clear the student dot clear means flush everything, flush all these and empty the collection. Just clear it. And then again, if I ask this question, what will it tell me? It will tell me true. Yes, it has been flushed. So now it is true. So like this, you can play around with the collection. So instead of arrays, you can use ArrayList. So ArrayList is also auto growable in nature. So once by default, the capacity of the ArrayList is 10 is the capacity. So if I try to add the 11th element, the capacity will auto grow. Okay. What What do you mean by the capacity and size? You will tell me. What do we mean by capacity and size? Today is day 8, right? Today is day 9. So in day 9, auto boxing for classes. So whatever files I have made, I am saving them. Yeah, I'm saving all the files so I can share it with you all. Collection, classes. So who can tell me what is the difference between capacity and size? Okay, let me give you an example. This is a bus which has 50 seats. How many seats are there in the bus? Guys, in this bus, there are how many seats? Let's say there are 50 seats. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are, let's say 20 seats. Okay. Let's see how many seats are there in the bus. 20 seats. Out of this, passengers are sitting on 5. So now this is a very big hint for you all. So now can you all tell me the capacity and the size of the bus? So capacity is total number of seats. Capacity is total number of seats and size is total number of passengers. So when I make an array list, the default capacity I'm saying capacity is 10. Default capacity is 10. So tell me what is the capacity of this array list? Who will tell me? I've added 5 elements over here. So what is the default capacity of array list is 10. So what is the capacity of this array list, students? Okay, 10 is correct. 5 is the size, Sandhya. 5 is the size. The number of elements is the size of the array list. And the capacity is by default 10. So when I enter the 11th record, that time the capacity will increase. So I will never see a array index out of bounds exception in a array list, because the array list is auto growable. That array list is collection classes are auto growable. Okay, so if you have a collection is auto growable in nature. So once my size reaches the capacity, okay, understand this. Now once my size, now size 5, capacity 20. Size 6, capacity 20. Size 7, capacity 20. size 8, capacity 20, size 9, capacity 20, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, let's say 19, 20. So now, once my size is equal to capacity, and after that, when I try to add a new element, once my size is equal to capacity, after that, if I add a new element, then the array list will auto grow. So it will not auto grow when it becomes equal to the capacity. Once it tries to become more than the capacity. So now when the 21st passenger is coming, when the 21st passenger is coming now, that time I will increase the capacity of the bus. I will increase the capacity of the bus when the 21st customer will come, and the new capacity will be 1.5 times the old capacity. One 1.5 times the old capacity plus 1. This is the formula for the new capacity. So what will be the new capacity now? 20 multiplied by 1.5, that is 30. 30 plus 1, that is 36. So now it will go and add more seats like this, and the capacity will increase to 36. So you never get a array index out of bounds exception in a collection because it keeps on growing itself. So now the new size will become 36. So the new size is 36. Now when will the size grow again? When will the size grow again? When the 37th element is to be added. So till we have 36 element, it will not grow. As soon as I add the 37th element, it will grow again. So what will be that? What will be the new size? 36 into 1.5 plus 1. That is what? 54 plus 1, 55. It will become what? 55. So size will grow, keep on growing like this. This is the advantages of, yes, it will increase implicitly, Satya. Correct. It will increase implicitly whenever the capacity is full, and after capacity full, if you are going to add, then it will increase. This you can see in the vector. This you can see in the vector. Okay. So let me show you all this demo of how the collection auto grows. So vector is a very old legacy class in the collection framework. It is there from version 1.1. So now I make a vector. V1 is new vector. Okay. And always we generalize the collections. I'll make a vector of integers. Okay. I import it. And now if I sys out, there are how many elements in the vector now? There are how many elements in the vector, guys? Who can tell me? There are how many elements in the vector? There are 0 elements, correct? So if I check v1 dot size v1 dot, what happened? Why is it not helping me with that? Okay, here there is some issue. If I do v1 dot capacity and v1 dot size, let's check what is the default capacity. I guess it is 10 or 16. 10 or 16. 10. See, but capacity is 10, size is 0. So now if I add an element v1 dot add 1. Now who can tell me what is this? Tell me what will it print now? Tell me guys. 10 1, correct. Capacity 10, size is 1. So I save all and I run. So capacity 10, size 1. Now if I take a for loop which runs 10 times. Okay. So now if I remove this, okay, I remove this. And I take a which runs 10 times. And I say v1 dot add I. So now tell me, if I display this, what will be? Yeah, remove everything for the top, so that there is no confusion. What will it display now? Who will tell me? Capacity 10, size 10, correct? Capacity 10, size 10. Now, what do you think will happen when I say after this, if I say v1 dot add and if I say 11? What do you think will happen? Oh, you know. Now, what do you think? Now, what do you think will be happening? Yes, guys. Now, what do you think will happen over here? Capacity will become 16. In a vector, it doubles, guys. That was for a 1.5 plus 1 was for a array list. Vector by default doubles the capacity. Vector's default is double. 2011, absolutely correct. So I save and I run, see, 2011. So like this, you will never see an out of index out of bounds exception in a collection. It keeps on growing itself. See, we can also specify. So what was the default capacity of a vector? 10, right? So I can also specify my own capacity also. So now if I can comment this out, I can make a vector of my own capacity also. So I make a vector of capacity 5. This is the capacity. Whatever I pass away is the capacity. So now tell me what is the capacity of this vector now? And what is the size? Someone tell me. So whatever I have passed over there is the capacity. Yes, 5 and 0. Absolutely correct. 5 and 0. So now if I add 5 elements to it, if I add 5 elements to it, what do you think will be the capacity and size now? If I add 5 elements to it, then what is the capacity and size now? 5. And if I add the 6th element, so let me run it. Let me run it now. 5, 5. And now if I add the 6th element, then if I add the 6th element, and then if I display, what will it be? Double and yes, double the capacity, 10 and 6. I can also specify my own increment also, guys. By default, it is taking double in as the increment, right? But if I want, I can make a vector of the amount which I want to increment by. So you can make a vector by this 5, 3. So now this 3 is the increment. So whenever size will increment by 3. So tell me output for this. Yes. 5, 0. Yes. Let me add the 5 elements. Again, if I display this, now what? 5, 5, 5055. And now if I add a new element, what do you think will be the capacity now? Who can tell me? What is the silent capacity now? After this, anyone? 25? How come 25? This is the increment. So it will increment by 3. So capacity was 5. Will increment by 3 will become how much? The new capacity will become 8. The size will become 6. 8 and 6. 8 and 6. Yes. 8 and 6 like this. Okay, so you can, that's why there will never be out of bound exception in a vector. Array, the hash set on the contour. So if I take a hash set demo, the hash set on the contrary does not maintain the order. It will maintain the elements, but it will not maintain the order because it stores the data by their hash set. So if I have this same program, if I take, so instead of making a array list, you can make a hash set out of it. Okay. A new hash set. So now if I print this, any guesses in which order it will print with the names? Control Shift O. Any guesses in which order it will print with the names? It will be randomize. It will display me any order because the hash set does not preserve the order. See, Alice, Chris, David, Elsid, Ben. I wrote Alice, Chris, Elsid, David, Ben. It gave me Alice, Chris, David, Elsid, and Ben. See, change the order. So if I add some more names, Tom, Henry, Frank, and I do a run, you will see it gave me any random order. See, Tom, which was over here, has come first. Alice, which was first, came second. Chris, second, came third. David, which was fourth, is at fourth. Elsid, which was at third, has become at fifth. So any random order it is go to store. So the hash set doesn't maintain the order and hash set doesn't allow duplicates. The array list will allow duplicates. So if I write these names all over again, it will still accept it. It will still accept it. And it will show you the duplicates. See. Alice, Frank, Chris, Elsie, David, Ben. I have one David. I have two David. I have one Ben. I have two Ben. I have one Frank. So it will fix here. Two Davids, two Elsids. As many nulls you want, you can enter. You can enter as many null. Each null it will take unique. So you can add as many nulls as you want in an array list. All the nulls will be added. If I run it, all the nulls will be what happened. Null pointer exception there. Okay, when you are sorting it, then the nulls become a problem. When you try to sort it, then it sorts by comparing. No? It sorts by comparing. So how will you compare a null? So that time it becomes a problem. Sorting this. But you can add multiple nulls in an array list. Okay. So this cannot be done in a. So if I take all this same and I try to put it into the set now. The hash set, if I do all this. Any guesses what should be the output? It will not allow duplicates. Alice will come only once, Chris will come only once, and Sid will come only once, David only once, Ben only once. Only one single Sid, single David, and single Ben, and a single null. So what will be the size of this collection? Who will tell me? Who can calculate the size of this collection? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be skipped because they are already there. Only one null, 6. So I am predicting the size will be 6. Size is 6. So only one single null has come and no duplicates have come. If you want to eliminate the duplicates, but if you want to preserve the size, preserve the order, then go for linked hash set. Then go for linked hash set. The linked hash set will eliminate the duplicates, but it will preserve the order like a list. So if I take all this, okay, if I take entire stuff and put in a linked hash set. So instead of a hash set, I use a linked hash set. No Control Shift O. No Control Shift O. What happened? Okay, you can't have the same name as a class. So refactor it and rename this, and always that's why I always put a demo before my class names. That's why I always put a demo against my class name so that there is no conflict with the existing class. Not this demo. Linked hash set, no demo. So Control Shift 4, linked hash set. Now it will preserve the order in which the elements got added. So Alice, Chris, Elsie, David, Ben will be preserved and will be only one null. So if you want to preserve the elements, then go with linked hash set. See, Alice, Chris, Elsie, David, Ben. The order in which I added them. Alice, Chris, Elsie, David, Ben. The null. So it will preserve the order in which you added them. So now if I have Alice, Chris, now if I want them in sorted order, that they should be inserted in sorted order, then you go for tree set. Then you go for tree set. So tree set will add the elements in sorted order. So I take the same, again I did the same mistake. I should have been more. So tree set demo, just add the demo keyword that doesn't conflict with any of the inbuilt classes. So I do it tree set demo. I copy all this. Okay. In tree set, you cannot add the null, will be compare and add. So tree set, you cannot add nulls. You cannot add null, but it is comparing and placing. And now if I say tree set, so Control Shift O. Okay. tree set will always arrange the data in ascending order. You can arrange the data in ascending order. So Alice, Ben, Chris, David, Elsie will remove the duplicates as it is a set. Duplicates will be removed and order will be insertion. Order will be ascending order. See, duplicate will be removed and order will be ascending order. So who can now tell me the difference between these three classes? Hash set, no duplicate, no order. So no duplicate will be for everyone. Set, as the implementing set, they will not be duplicate. No duplicate, no order. No duplicate, order is preserved. And tree set, no duplicate and ascending order. Okay, and no null. You cannot add a null in a tree set because it compares and places the data, so you can't compare with null. Getting it, guys? Okay, so now let me push all this to the GitHub repo and share you all the link. Whatever I have drawn, whatever I have coded, I'll push all. I am practicing in the evening, guys, or in the morning when I'll have free time. I hope you all are practicing and making a note of all these questions which we are discussing. Very important. So let me push the code for today. Status. You can dot. Yes, guys. And push the code. You can refresh. GitHub repo, and you will get the latest push code. I'll share the repository link also on the chat. Attendance also has been, link has been sent to you all. Now then start marking attendance also. And use this GitHub repo. Okay. Now if anyone has any concerns, queries, I'm waiting for the questions. Okay. So whatever queries you all have about today's session, you all can post it on the chat and I'll reply to it.
Thank you, sir. Students, I hope you all marked your attendance. If you have not marked, kindly mark the attendance.
Yes, guys, I'm waiting for your questions. If anyone has any. Okay, no questions, guys. Okay, Sushmita, should I jump off?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So students, I am repeating again. If you have not marked the attendance, kindly mark your attendance. I'm sharing the link once again on the chat. Kindly mark your attendance and drop the session. We'll wait for 2 minutes and then we'll wind up the session. Okay, I hope you all marked your attendance. So thank you all. We'll meet again by tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.